Today, I want to take a closer look at two of my favorite semiconductor companies, Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, and Nvidia. More importantly, I want to take a closer look at some recent news about the consumer market. We know the consumer market is a very important portion of both these companies' total revenue. And also, I want to take a closer look or just a reminder of what both these companies shared in their most recent earnings for the outlook for the upcoming earnings, right? So, pretty much their guidance. So, let's get started. We can see today seems to be a very interesting day in the market. A lot of red. We're seeing AMD down roughly 2%. Year to date, the stock is still up over 35%. But we can see for at least the past month or so, the stock has pretty much been flat. If we take a closer look at Nvidia year to date, the stock has kind of been trending up, is up roughly 86.6% year to date. So like I mentioned, today I want to take a closer look at the consumer market. And we know the consumer market is very important for both these companies. Here we can see for Nvidia, right, the gaming market right now in their most recent quarter was roughly $1.8 billion. It was up 16% quarter over quarter, but it is down 46% year over year. They did mention that, hey, that quarter over quarter growth was driven by strong reception of their 40 series GeForce RTX GPUs. So again, let's take a closer look at total revenue just so we can remember, right? Total revenue this most recent quarter that passed was roughly $6 billion. So a good portion does come from the gaming market. Unfortunately, it is seeing a lot of weakness because of that channel inventory correction, and they believe that is largely behind them. If we take a closer look at what they expect for this upcoming quarter, they expect sequential growth driven by each of their four main markets, right? One of those being the gaming. They expect revenue to be $6.5 billion, so a nice $500 million up sequentially, and they mentioned the strong growth in data center and gaming. And the reason I want to do this video today is kind of see where we're at right now. Have we gotten any form of insight where it might tell us, hey, should we expect better than this or worse than this? And earlier this year, on April 12th of 2023, we did see that that Nvidia released their RTX 4070 line. This was starting at roughly $600, right? And that's great news because most of the graphics cards coming out recently have been in that high premium tier range of like nearly $1,000 or more. So this was the first time we started to see some consumer friendly prices. Unfortunately, we are hearing reports and rumors that Nvidia may restrict the supply of the RTX 4070 cards in response to lower than expected sales. They also mentioned that according to supply chain insiders, Nvidia recently informed their IAB partners that it would pause productions of RTX 4070 GPUs for at least 1 month to prevent an overstock issue and allow retailers more time to clear existing inventory. So it does seem like we are seeing still a huge weakness in the gaming market. The real question is this weakness still higher than the demand we saw in quarter 4 of fiscal year of 2023?
Discover the world of semiconductors without getting lost in the technical jargon. My new membership offers a perfect balance for investors looking to understand this exciting market. Using my electrical engineering knowledge and experience, I will release weekly exclusive videos ranging from quick 5-minute 101s to in-depth analysis, covering not just popular chip stocks, but aiming to explore every public semiconductor. Plus, join a private community of like-minded investors. Finally, I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
I don't know, things with what I'm reading, it's kind of giving me. And let me just say this. I am a long-term bull of Nvidia. I have no intentions of selling, but I like to prepare myself for the worst, right? That's all I'm trying to do. Trying to acknowledge of what we might experience or what I might experience in the upcoming quarter earnings, just so I'm not completely shocked. So right now, with what I am reading, I believe that maybe Nvidia, at least on the gaming side, which is really dependent on the consumer, might not see that sequential growth that they are expecting. If they do, I'm honestly going to be surprised, right? I am going to be surprised. Maybe I'm not expecting maybe a huge decline, but I'm not expecting maybe that huge quarter over quarter growth that maybe Nvidia was kind of anticipating earlier on. It does seem what we're hearing is that inventory correction has maybe saw a bit of a it's very fluctuant, it's being very fluctual, where maybe when they reported earnings things were looking better, but I think right now things might have slowed down a little bit in the consumer space again. So very interesting thought here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys think I'm overthinking this, or do you believe the gaming market is still going to be strong? Remember, the gaming market is only a small portion of Nvidia's. It's only a portion, not a small portion, but it's only a portion of the company's total revenue. I do believe the data center market might still see some strength. They do believe that as well. And they also have other markets like the automotive market that I believe will continue to see a sequential growth, even though it is a small player. Now, let's move on to advanced micro devices, AMD. We can see they are dependent in the consumer market. We can see their client revenue, unfortunately, in the most recent quarter was down 51%. And they had a huge operating loss, not huge, but they had an operating income loss here compared to a nice profitability about a quarter ago, right? So that's what you hate to see, but we can see how these companies are still dependent in the consumer market one way or another. Now, if we take a closer look at the gaming segment is actually includes graphics cards. We could see that was down 7%, but again, that operating income was down a nice amount. Now let's take a closer look at what AMD kind of gave us an outlook for. So for those not for those that want to remember, sequentially, AMD expects the embedded segment revenue to increase. And I do believe the embedded market is one that's super strong in the semiconductor space still. I don't think we've heard anything that can kind of show us otherwise, but they mentioned the client and gaming segment revenue are expected to decline largely consistent with seasonality. They also expect the data center segment revenue is expected to decline due to elevated levels of inventory with some cloud customers. So I find this pretty interesting, right? Because in one hand, we heard Nvidia say that, hey, they are very bullish on the data center market, but here we hear from AMD that they're not that bullish in the upcoming quarter for the data center market. Even though they both deal in the data center space, I do believe maybe the demands for GPUs are increasing a little bit higher and faster compared to CPU due to the acceleration of AI workloads. So that could be the main reason offsetting or the difference between these two companies. We do have an article here that came out, and they do mention that AMD is actually thinking of releasing the Radeon RX 7600 series. This is going to be a cheaper version. It's actually supposed to be cheaper than the 4070. It's probably going to be in the $400 price point. So AMD seems to be skipping something to combat the 4070 or something across this price point of roughly $600, $500 and going even lower. So maybe AMD is also seeing that weakness in the consumer market, and they might just be trying to really get into that bottom level of price point entry. So that again kind of continues to tell me that, hey, the gaming market or just the consumer market, especially for graphics cards, is still not there. That maybe consumers are not rushing to buy any of these cards, and can definitely give a signal of weakness for companies like AMD and Nvidia, especially in the consumer space. I want to say with graphics cards in the consumer market, you do tend to have more of a correlation to the CPU market as well in the consumer space. So obviously that bodes bad for AMD's client segment. But if we remember that kind of outlook that they gave us, they do expect that, hey, the client and gaming segment revenues are expected to decline largely consistent with the seasonality changes. So again, I'm an investor of both. I have no intentions of selling, but I do now have the expectations that Nvidia might underperform, at least on the gaming side. The real question is, will data center side be enough to offset this crazy year-to-date return. AMD is still another one of my favorites, and again, no intentions of selling. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care and have a good day.